Russia has continued to suffer high losses of equipment on the front line in Ukraine, according to Kyiv's latest estimates. In its update on Thursday, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said that over the previous day, Russia had lost 21 tanks, taking the total losses of the vehicles since the start of the invasion nearly 23 months ago to 6,147. The update also said that Russian forces had lost a further 38 armored personnel vehicles, APVs, in the previous 24 hours, taking the tally over the course of the war started by President Vladimir Putin to 11,410. The tracking website Oryx, which counts equipment losses on both sides, lists Russian tank losses at 2,623 as of Thursday, although it uses open sources and video or photographic evidence to confirm these figures. It says, therefore, the amount of equipment destroyed is significantly higher than recorded here. Of these, 1,723 were destroyed, 148 were damaged, 210 were abandoned, and 542 were captured. Ukraine also released its daily tally of Russian troop losses, saying on Thursday that Moscow has lost 780 personnel over the previous day, taking the total since the start of the war to 373,600. An exact number of Russian troops is difficult to assess, with other estimates giving lower figures. Moscow has not updated its loss numbers since the 6,000 losses it revealed in September 2022. On New Year's Day, Ukraine's figures of Russian casualties since the start of the war totaled 360,010, putting Moscow's losses for last year at 253,290, a daily average throughout the year of 694. A declassified U.S. intelligence report in December said that Russia had lost 315,000 troops since the war started, the New York Times reported. Ukraine has not revealed its casualty numbers, although Moscow claimed this month Kyiv had lost 215,000 troops since the war began. Ukraine's claims of continued high Russian losses come amid reports that railway tracks in Russia's Saratov, Yaroslavl, and Nizhny Novgorod oblasts faced sabotage attacks, according to Ukraine's military intelligence agency, GUR. Unknown opponents of Putin's regime once again burned several relay cabinets on the railway used for military logistics, the GUR reported, sharing video which appeared to show attacks on relay boxes and parts of track infrastructure. The attacks follow similar incidents on Russian railways in recent months, linked to Ukrainian intelligence services. In November, the GUR said it was involved in an operation that disrupted trains around Moscow, while Ukrainian media claimed the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, sabotaged the Baikal-Amur Railway in Russia's Buryatia Republic. On January 8th, Russian railways reported that 14 freight train cars were derailed in Russia's Far East, a day after reports of explosions at a railway track by an oil depot on the outskirts of the Ural city of Nizhny Tagil. Russian forces have intensified their assaults along the eastern front towards Bakhmut, ahead of larger planned offensive operations. This is according to the US-based independent think tank, the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, whose maps show the latest state of play in Ukraine. Ukrainian Ground Forces Command spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Volodymyr Fityo, said on Friday that his country's troops were destroying Russian tanks and armored vehicles, but that Moscow still could draw on a large reserve of resources. Fityo added Russia had stepped up assaults in the Kupiansk-Lyman and Bakhmut directions. Both Kyiv and Moscow-affiliated military observers say that Russian forces are readying themselves for imminent larger-scale actions in the Lyman direction. The ISW said on Friday that Russian forces will likely conduct both localized offensive operations and larger offensive efforts to force Ukraine to commit dwindling equipment and troops to defensive efforts. The think tank has previously said that Moscow will step up efforts in the coming weeks to capture Kupiansk. One map from the ISW shows how, on January 18th, Russian forces had advanced northeast and south of Bakhmut, towards the towns of Bodanivka and Klishchivka. Another map from Friday of the same Donetsk Oblast shows how Russian forces had captured Vesele, north of Avdiivka, where they have been fighting an offensive since October. The graphic also shows Russian advances west of Donetsk city and north of Klishchivka. Moscow's aim with the push would be to capture the rest of the Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia oblasts, which Vladimir Putin declared in September 2022 to have been annexed, but which Moscow does not fully control.
Орудие! Выстрел! Выстрел!
51.
Заряд один снаряд